In this demo, we're going to look at using UTM codes and query strings. On our query strings page, you'll see that we have a very simple call to action. We cater to all your WordPress needs. Well, let's take a look at a condition that we have that's ready to go for this. You'll see that we have UTM campaign, and this is simply a condition that's looking for a query string, and it's going to look for a UTM underscore campaign, and we're using the option is in list, and we're using it as case insensitive. So that means it doesn't matter if it's uppercase or lowercase, and any of these items, B2B, fintech, or e-commerce, these are all going to trigger the condition to be met or trigger the condition to be true. So if I come back to the page itself, what I can do is I can take this, we cater to all your WordPress needs, and I'm just going to open up the Logic Hop palette, and I'm going to select if the condition, and here's that condition here, and I'm just going to use an if else, because we want to have one message if the condition is met, and another message if the condition is not met. So when I click insert, I'm just going to basically put all these on new lines, so it's just an easier viewing process here. So we take a look at this, and so we have this H2 tag, and if you think of the conditions, these are really just asking a question. If this condition is met, we're going to show this. Now we actually want to do the inverse of that, so we're going to say if the condition is not met, we cater to all your WordPress needs, and if the condition is met, we don't want to cater to all your needs, we want to cater to all your specific needs to meet one of those parameters, so B2B, fintech, e-commerce. I'm going to just go ahead and click update on this, and then let me preview this. So when I open this up in preview, if I come to Logic Hop in the toolbar here and select preview tool, we'll see that we can turn this on, and now we can see both of these. And by turning this on, I'm just enabling both conditions. So you see that we have this one, we cater to all your needs, and then the else is we cater to all your WordPress needs. Let me go ahead and close this. I'm going to go back to the page. Now, one thing is if we want to dynamically change out this message, we could create multiple conditions, one for B2B, one for fintech, but since we're using that in list, now we can add a Logic Hop variable here. So I'm just going to come back to the Logic Hop palette and go to the Data tab, and then the variable that we're looking for is a query string. And again, we're going to use that UTM underscore campaign. And then one thing I want to do with this as well is I just want to change the case. So I'm going to change this to uppercase. I'll change everything to uppercase. So if I insert that variable, and now we cater to all your, and then the variable is going to be that UTM campaign, and we're going to have it be uppercase. So if I click update, and if we go back to previewing our changes here, and I open up the preview tool once again, we'll see if I turn that on. Now when I come to the variables tab, I can actually go ahead and put this in. So if I add in B2B, B2B, and then you can see that we can actually preview how this would look. I can turn that on and off, and again, turn off my conditions. This is just a nice way to preview things. So that's looking the way we want it to. I'm going to go ahead and update this. And one of the ways we want to go about viewing this, the best way as you're working with things, is to open in a new incognito window. And what that's going to do is it's going to take away the toolbar, and it's going to give me sort of a fresh session, if you will. And I can come in here and put in this query string, and I have them some by default. So you'll see with that query string met, B2B, it's going to display there. I'm going to go ahead and put in fintech. It's going to display fintech. And let me put in one that we don't have in that list. I'll just set this to be skateboarding, and you wouldn't want that to appear there. So since that's not in that list, it just defaults back to cater to your WordPress needs. Now, another thing you might want to look at for this is query strings are great because query strings change as the user comes into the site. These are perfect for coming in and saying e-commerce was another option that we had. Now, with the query string, things to test are we're using if the query string, and that's the active query string. We have another option that's very similar that's called the query string session. And that will be available for the user's entire session as they navigate through your site. So if they leave this page and then come back, it will remember that query string, so you'll show them that same message. So if you're going through the demo, that might be one thing you want to check, is changing this from query string to query string session, or creating another condition just like that. And then also on the page itself, how we're using that variable query. We could also remember what's being stored and use query store, and that's what's stored in that session. So that gives you some persistence and it'll be active for the entire user session. This is a great way to dive into personalization with Logic Hop because query strings and UTM codes, they're really the same thing, but they're very powerful. You can use them from merge tags in emails, you can use them from social media campaigns, you can use them in your ads, you can use them in referrers coming from other sites. So if you have any questions, let us know, but this is a great way to get your hands dirty and start playing around with Logic Hop.